Imagine turning down the opportunity to invest in a company only to see them explode a short time down the road. Now, imagine this happening to you not once, but 3 times. That's exactly what happened to Shark Tank's Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. Look, Kevin is undoubtedly a savvy investor, but today I'm going to share Mr. Wonderful's 3 biggest investing misses. And the last one, oh my gosh, it has got to keep him up at night. All right, the first deal that walked into the tank, well, Kevin, typical Kevin fashion, had a huge problem with their valuation of $7 million. Get this, 100% of their sales were coming from their website. No retail sales at all. There's a huge opportunity there that Kevin wasn't even looking at. And then they were already making a crap ton of money. In their first year, they sold $1 million worth of product. Year 2, $2.7 million. And when they pitched the Sharks, they had already sold $2 million in product in the first 6 months of that year. The company I'm talking about is none other than Squatty Potty. You know the company I'm talking about, the little footstool that helps you go number 2. Yeah, I don't know about that product, but hey, they did not leave the tank empty-handed. Lori Grenier, the queen of QVC, she swooped in and she struck a deal with Squatty Potty. She actually agreed to $300,000 for a 10% stake right there on the show on air. And then later down the line gave them another $600,000 for another 10%. Lori now owns 20% of Squatty Potty. And in their first 7 years, they did $222 million in sales. I just have one question to ask. Kev, what were you thinking? And here's the crazy part. It only gets worse from here. I can guarantee you that Mr. Wonderful has shed more tears over this next deal than he ever did over Squatty Potty. Now, when they entered the tank, Kevin kind of made himself look like a cold, heartless man right from the very beginning. You see, this company was doing business very differently than any other company that had ever entered the tank. Kind of their business model is that you purchased a product, they would then turn around and give it to someone who was homeless. It was a feel-good business model. Now, most of the Sharks, they saw this as a positive thing, kind of a way to build goodwill with their customers. And it would make people want to buy more because every time they bought, they had that good feeling that they were helping someone else in need with the purchase that they just made. But that is not how Kevin saw it.
It's ridiculous. I'm out.
He saw it as a massive added cost, cutting into his profits if he were going to invest. Now, as a startup investor myself, I love companies that give back. I think it's actually inspiring. But Kevin, he wasn't having any of it. He actually joined all the other Sharks and passed on the deal. And there was one Shark left standing at the end. Damon Johns, the fashion and clothing brand guru himself. And those that were standing right in front of him were the founders of Bombas, the athletic sock brand. Now, Damon decided to invest and ended up getting 17.5% of the company for $200,000. And Bombas, well, they went on to be one of the highest grossing companies to ever set foot inside of the tank. The most recent report that I found was from 2019, where Yahoo News said that they were doing close to $100 million in sales per year. That is a lot of socks. But I have saved the best for last. Well, not in Kevin's case, I guess. And look, I often tell the investors that are part of my free newsletter, don't be so quick to judge a startup or jump to some conclusions too fast when analyzing a startup, because you might miss on an amazing startup standing right there in front of you, like Mr. Wonderful did on this next one. This was back in 2013, and it's crazy that it has been a decade. And what's even crazier is to think how big this company actually is today. In fact, you might have one of their products on your house or in your house. Heck, you may even have multiple products throughout your house. And I just don't think the sharks, I don't think they saw the potential in this product. Or in Lori's case, she didn't think that it was different enough from other existing products on the market. Now, the company that I'm talking about is Doorbot, better known today as Ring Doorbell. At the time, Jamie, the founder, he was looking to raise around $700,000 for a 10% equity stake in their company. Now, all the other sharks, they dropped out. And the last one standing is Kevin, who was eye to eye with Jamie, the founder. He was so close to making a deal. And then, of course, in typical Kevin fashion, he pulls out one of his stupid royalty deals and he offered Jamie $700,000 that he was asking for, but he wanted 10% of all sales until he recouped his $700,000 investment. But that's not it. He also wanted 7% of the company forever. And Jamie, the founder, well, he just wasn't having it. And so after a bunch of back and forth with Mr. Wonderful, Jamie decided that he wasn't willing to give up that much of his company, and he walked away from the tank without a deal. So where is Ring now? Despite on every house in America? Well, they didn't get a deal on Shark Tank, so they started to raise money outside of Shark Tank, and they got their first $1 million of investment in 2013. Then they went on to raise $200 million over the next 3 years. But what happened next really solidified them as a mega brand and created what I see as Mr. Wonderful's biggest regret in the tank. Ring got bought by Amazon. Amazon stroked a check to Ring for $1 billion. That's billion with a B. And O'Leary could have gotten in at the ground floor, investing when they were valued at $7 million. But he thought it was too much. All right, I think beating up on Kevin is enough here. So what is the lesson that we can pull from all of this? I think the biggest thing is that every investor will have misses. Hands down, no doubt about it. The other sharks have as well, but there will be times when the deal you have in front of you just doesn't seem right. Maybe the structure of the deal, maybe it's the team in place, or maybe even it's the product or the business model. It's easy for us to sit here and armchair quarterback someone else's decisions as we look back years ago. So, Kevin, if you're watching, don't feel so bad. You're still Mr. Wonderful in my book. And speaking of wonderful, if you're not a part of my free weekly newsletter for everyday investors, this is my invitation to you to join us. Don't miss a minute of the action. The link is in the description and you can join for free today. And if you thought Mr. O'Leary was the man, look, no one holds a candle to the rapper Nas and how big of a boss he is when it comes to investing. I broke it all down for you right here. And if you want to see me on the streets of Nashville asking people to serve up their business ideas in the middle of the nightlife, you can check that one out right here.